What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Thank you for tuning in to episode 10 of the Daily Dose podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Keep running the channel up. This channel is sponsored by Jackpack LLC, all organically grown cannabis right here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Tons of stuff to go over today. Lots of fights from the weekends. Some current topics to go over. Let's get right into it. First thing we're going to go over is the Sandhagen versus Figeuardo fight. Right off rip, Jillian Roberts had a great performance over Marina Rodriguez. She ended up retiring. Just can't quite compete at that level anymore. Jillian looks great at strawweight. Shout outs to her. Yana Santos and Miesha Tate, decent fight. Some older women in the division. Pretty decent exchanges. They gave the unanimous to Yana Santos. Mason Jones came back after he was in the UFC. I think he went 2-2, got clipped. He went 4-0 in Cage Warriors. Came back, fights Jeremy Stevens in Stevens' hometown, of course, in Des Moines, Iowa. And Mason Jones put it on him, had him bleeding, controlled the fight. In general, Jeremy Stevens always struggled in the grappling department. Great striker, a lot of power, but he was just getting controlled a lot, which was leading to other things. Montel Jackson had a great performance. Daniel Rodriguez and Santiago Ponzinibbio. Now, this fight started right away. They were just getting right to it. D-Rod ended up dropping Ponzinibbio at the end of the first. They came out in the second, and it was actually way more competitive. They were both, D-Rod was still always catching the bigger shots, but Ponzinibbio was starting to kind of figure some things out, get some shots in there. And then when the third round came out, he got cracked, got caught, got stopped, so good performance by Daniel Rodriguez. In the co-main, Rainer De Ryder versus Bo Nickel. Now, this was a big fight. Of course, a lot of hype around Bo Nickel. Rainer De Ryder, I believe he was the champion one, or at least came from ONE FC, beat Kevin Holland. So him and Bo Nickel are going at it. First couple minutes in the first round was all on the feet. Last half of the first round ended up in a bunch of grappling exchanges. They come out in the second, kind of mixing both. Ended up in the clinch, and Bo got caught with a knee. Then he kind of backed up against Cage, took a few shots. They went to exchange, and Ryder just cracked him with a knee right to the liver, stopped him. Great performance by Rainer De Ryder. Calls out Sean Strickland. Hey, when you win, you call your shots. So we'll see if the UFC puts that together. And then, of course, in the main event, Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figeuardo. It ended in a TKO / kind of knee injury, but Figeuardo was playing that game. He was trying to get the knee bar. He was holding the leg lock. He was just playing that game the whole fight. Sandhagen wanted to exchange more. He was trying to get his ground and pound off. And then eventually, when he did start finishing him, Figeuardo kind of looked at the ref, held his knee. So, I don't know. But when you play that game, that's what happens. Guys, at the UFC level, very rarely are you going to win by that, especially in a main event versus someone like Corey Sandhagen. So, I don't know if he was just stalling, if he was trying to hopefully to wear him out a little bit, but definitely didn't do anything. Figeuardo looks decent. He's kind of at a weird place where he couldn't really make 25 anymore. He's decent at 35, but I don't see him becoming the champ by any means. So let's go over next week's fight then. We got UFC 315, Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena, live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Let's see what we got on here. We got a decent, it shows right now the main card is Alexa Grasso, Natalia Silva, Jose Aldo, Ayman Zahabi, Valentina Shevchenko, Maron Firat, and Bilal Muhammad, Jack Della Maddalena. So, it's not a huge card. Obviously, at flyweight, I'm going with Alexa Grasso, probably by unanimous decision on that one. And then this other fight at bantamweight, this is a tough one. Huge fan of Jose Aldo. Ayman Zahabi, of course, Faraz Zahabi's brother. And he's been looking good at bantamweight lately. So that's going to be a tough one. I would love to see Jose come back and pull it off. But on that one, I'm probably going Ayman Zahabi by unanimous decision, maybe even a KO, TKO. Valentina versus what is it, Manon Ferret? Yeah, we're gonna go with Valentina on that one. I mean, she's had a couple of speed bumps in the road, but in general, she's always on point. So we're going Valentina as the champ. She's gonna get unanimous decision. Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. I would like to see Jack get the win and kind of get a knockout or a big performance. Obviously, if we know if Bilal wins, it's going to be by decision. This guy would probably win a decision in a street fight. No, I think it was like a fighter questionnaire thing in England a couple weeks ago, and they were ripping Bilal. One of them had asked him that. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. So that was all from the UFC this past weekend, as well as we got coming up this Saturday. Now let's go over some of the stuff from Times Square. So what a weird weekend in boxing. You had Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza Jr. Great fight. Definitely a great fight. It was interesting. Teofimo is always the wild, outlandish one, and he was the only one who showed up and showed out. Put on a hell of a performance. Barboza didn't really have much to answer for him. Teo's head movement looked good. His punch selection, he put it on him. He looked great. Shout outs to Teofimo. You had the co-main. Now, I picked Jose Ramirez over Devin Haney. Goodness gracious. This guy he didn't show up, or he has pillow hands. I don't know what was going on. It looked like both of them were fighting in a dream. So they set a record for the lowest punches thrown in a 12-round fight. Devin wasn't doing literally anything. And then, like I said, when Jose Ramirez had the opportunity, he didn't really take them. He didn't land big shots. It was a very, very weird, boring fight. Devin, come on, dog. You can't act like you're the king after that. I see him posting stuff on his Instagram and whatnot. Like, bro, that was a terrible performance. Terrible. Honestly, I was talking to some of my homies. I was like, I think that's one of the worst champions we've ever had in history. Throwing that little of punches. Just crazy. And then, of course, in the main event, we had Ryan Garcia versus Rolando Romero. I thought this would be an easy win for Ryan Garcia. He got caught with the hook right in the beginning of the fight, and that kind of changed everything. They always say if you have someone who hooks a lot, you hook with the hooker. As Ryan was throwing his left hook, his right hand was down. Rolly stepped in, threw a hook, hit him dead in the face, dropped him. And then Ryan was very selective in his shots as well. Didn't throw a lot of punches. And Rolly in general is more of kind of a counter puncher. So once Ryan wasn't really throwing, Rolly's no longer throwing. It wasn't as boring as some of the other fights, but yeah, it definitely didn't go how anybody thought. Shout outs to Rolly. Drops Ryan, controls the fight. Very interesting night of boxing. Then we go to Saturday night. In the main event, of course, we have Canelo versus William Scull. Now, this guy, William Scull, just showed up for a paycheck, clearly. I mean, he did not do anything. He was just running around the ring. He wasn't even sticking and moving. Like, he didn't even want to do anything but just move around. Very, very weird, very shitty to do that to the fans and show up and not even try. Just terrible performance by Scull. He definitely needs to get back to the back of the line. I don't know what he was even doing in there. He was a damn Uber driver from Cuba or something. But even with Canelo, it was kind of concerning to a degree. I don't know if he just didn't want to, but to have that many fights and not be able to cut off the ring, he also just let Scull continually go in circles, instead of cutting him off, backing him into the corner, getting him up against the ropes, and try and do something from there. Obviously, after 4 or 5 rounds, okay, this guy definitely doesn't want to engage. He's just running around. He won't sit still. He won't get in the pocket. And I know Canelo primarily likes to fight in the pocket, head movement, get his shots in. I get it. But if that's what your opponent is doing, you should adjust accordingly. So I don't know if Canelo just didn't want to. I would like to think it's that versus him not knowing how, especially at that level. So, again, that was another fight that I think broke the record for least punches thrown in a 12-round fight. So very, very weird weekend in boxing, especially not what you expect from a Canelo Alvarez fight. Now, it does take two to dance, though. He was the only one trying to come forward and throw punches. So, William Scull, you robbed the damn fans, and you got an easy $3 million there, buddy. And then, of course, like I've been saying, for September 12th, it's now official. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford, live from Allegiant Stadium. I'll definitely be there all week, do a fight week vlog. And it was interesting when they actually did the stare down. Canelo's a bit thicker, but Crawford's taller. Crawford's taller. I'm not sure on the reach and everything like that. But what a lot of people don't realize is when Canelo's going up in these weight classes, he's fighting people that are bigger, but also slower and not as skilled. Crawford's going to be the first guy he's fighting in a while that is just as skilled, just as fast. It's going to be a great fight. I still, I'm a big fan of both. I still think Canelo takes it, but it's hard to count Crawford out with his confidence, with the previous fights he's had. If he wins at 168 pounds versus Canelo, I mean, it'd be hard not to call him a GOAT, or at least one of them. So definitely hyped for that fight. Can't wait till September. Weird fight night on Friday and Saturday. Then last night we have Inoue the Monster. Now, in my opinion, this was potential candidate for fight of the year. Him and this Cardenas guy, man, they were scrapping. He got dropped in the first or the second round. The Monster got dropped, came back, and just put it on, buddy. Ended up stopping him. I think the ref called it a little bit early, but ultimately I think Inoue would have put him away had it not been stopped. The thing with Inoue is super clean. I think one of the best 1-2s in boxing, period. He would land 2 or 3, 4 in a row, just 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, super clean. And just the volume, even his opponent said, he would land something and then Inoue would put up 4, 5, 6, 7 punch combos, body, head, just ripping them. I mean, if you guys haven't watched Inoue before, he is a talent. I don't think he said he wants to go any higher than 126. This fight was at 122. But, man, he is skilled. He is sharp. He likes to bang. Like I said, he got caught, but he never shied away. He came back in there and put it on Cardenas. Great fight. That one revived the weekend. Leave it up to the Monster. Wasn't going to let us down. Hadn't been to Vegas in like 4 years, of the United States in general. For people who don't know, he's a huge fighter out of Japan. He's a superstar over there. Check it out, though. Ended the weekend on a good note. Thank you, Inoue. Scull robbed us. Some weird fights for sure. Next thing I wanted to go over, it's funny, we were talking about Sean Strickland earlier. Sean Strickland, there's a video of him sparring another influencer. And at this point, I mean, if you're an influencer and you go spar him, it's your fault. He's whooping everybody's ass, so you should expect that. It is also very weird to be a UFC champion, a very high-level middleweight, and enjoy or put it on people like that can't even fight. I get even if someone's being disrespectful, let them come in there and land some body shots, some leg kicks. Teach them there's levels to this, but he's just beating up on bums and stuff. Very weird. I don't know. He enjoys that. Probably all the stuff he talks about. We know Sean's not all there, but is what it is, guys. Don't go spar him unless you're planning on that happening. Now, I don't know if you guys know this kid named Death Wish. He fights in Street Beefs. Man, he is a character. Y'all got to go check him out. He won in Street Beefs yesterday. His opponent ended up quitting for a reason I don't know. It wasn't brutal or anything like that. The kid is an absolute character. He thinks he's like an anime superhero in the Street Beefs. Very entertaining, though. It was hilarious. Go look him up. Dillion Danis actually had some funny stuff for once on the Devin Haney fight. He said Devin Haney made the city that never sleeps go to sleep. Now, that one was pretty funny, not crazy. The other one, he said, "Thank you, Devin. My best friend has been in a wheelchair for 34 years, and he finally stood up to turn the TV off." Dylan's usually talking wild, random shit, but that one was actually pretty funny, and, Devin kind of deserved it. Did you guys see that Grand Theft Auto 6 is pushed back again? Supposedly to 2026. At this point, is it even going to come out? I know a lot of people think that it's going to be this crazy, like buying real estate, and some streamers are saying they're going to make an actual currency in the game. It's pretty crazy. Everybody keeps banking on it. It keeps getting pushed back, so don't depend on it. You're going to need to get something going. Message of the week, guys. You will get paid in proportion to the problems you solve. I believe Elon Musk made that famous. And basically, if you're the doorman at whatever it may be, you get paid based on everybody can be a doorman. Anybody can be a doorman. If you're a server, I'm not knocking anybody, but if you're in an entry-level position that a lot of people can do, you'll get paid accordingly. If you really want to make some good money, find some rich people, see what their problems are, and figure out how you could solve it. That's always a quick way to do it. Did you guys see Kanye West? He is trying to sue his dentist for making him allergic to nitrous oxide, something like that. I only bring it up because Kanye has obviously produced and made some of the sickest music we've ever seen, but he really, really has some crazy mental issues. Not wishing, like when he passes, whatever that comes, not, wishing anything. But they really do need to study his brain. They say CTE can't be found until after we pass away. They really need to look at his brain. Maybe it was from that car crash he had. But, I mean, that guy just goes all over the board, the highest highs, the lowest lows. He says some of the most crazy, controversial stuff. But then he produces some of the illest music and hardest beats we've ever heard. So it's an interesting thing for sure. Overall, man, that was a great weekend in fights. Well, I mean, the UFC card was pretty good. The Monster was amazing. The Friday night fights, I mean, Tiafimo was the only one who showed up. Canelo's opponent, William Scull, just came to get a paycheck. Crawford will not do that, though. I guarantee you Crawford will come to fight. He's looking at that and seeing how he could capitalize. That's going to be a really good one. That kind of wraps it up for episode 10, guys, of the Daily Dose podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next week.